What's up, Lyndon, man? Not only are we back, but we are back. GASOCAST episode 5, I believe, of the season. You got the A team or the F team, whichever you think it is. Lyndon Cook, Michael Timmons here. Um, it's already mid-April. That means it's already May, and that means it's already summer. This thing's going by fast. We have this weekend. We have the spring championships coming up. One of our favorite events. 2 weeks ago, we had the Austin tip-off. It's always Gasso season. We have a little more pep in our step this week because it's Gasso week officially. But Lyndon, before we get into talking about what we're going to talk about today, just give me your thoughts so far, like how quick this spring's gone.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to think about that, back when we both started working, this would have been a live period weekend. And thinking about how, accelerated it was back then where, we'd have an event where there's going to be 200 coaches in the gym in late April. And now just because of the portal and because of how everything's changed in the landscape of recruiting, this is still going to be a big time event. And coaches are still going to be paying attention to just not have that live period tag to it. But yeah, no, we've been all over the place. Houston, Austin, DFW, and Texas is just it's deep as ever. It really is. There's prospects all over the place, and there's probably 100 names that we've added to the TBR in just the last month, which is just a great the state of Texas. The basketball scene here continues to get better and better every year, and we're just really blessed to be able to cover it and be a part of putting a light on some of these guys who deserve it.
And I want to follow up with that, but let's get into some housekeeping really quick. What a segue! Like we get the people like listen to every single word, then I give them some housekeeping notes. Gasso Fast Break last week was awesome. Once again, you kill it with our newsletter. If you haven't subscribed to that, it's the best bang for your buck. We talk about so many guys every single weekend in a really, really fun way. We are in spring championships mode. We're going to be having brackets this week along with some showcase, but these are 16-team brackets, and they're going to be, we look at them and off cam, we're probably like, hey, how do you see these brackets shaping up? And that's always a fun time to see some of these teams in that bracket setting, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. Live period is right around the corner. I'm going to post a live period graphic of all the teams so far committed. We expect to, as usual, have the biggest live period in Texas going on. So look out for that graphic. If you haven't signed up, you know what it is. When you come to live period at Gas, so you know what to expect. High-level basketball, high-level organization, and high-level coverage. So if you need to get signed up for that, get signed up for that. And then shout out to Rumble and the Plex last week. Texas Impact always runs a great event there. Lyndon, we were off. So, with how many tournaments we run low key, it's like we were watching. So I saw some of the guys, I saw some of the performances out there, but I wasn't there in person. And then shout out to the HBCU High School All-Star game this weekend. We'll be in the gym at Gasso, but they got a really, really fun event down there for the seniors at Paul Quinn, which looks like it's going to be a really, really exciting event. So housekeeping's done. Let's get right back into it. This spring for me, it seems like it's going by so fast, but I tell some of these parents and some of these players that are still like, we don't know what team we're fully playing with yet. And I'm like, it's so weird how long the spring and summer is. It's like, it's just every week you go out and hoop, it's about momentum, in my opinion. Even when we talk about, like, and you see the rumors that coaches aren't going to be coming out to as many live periods. So it's like, what can you do week to week just to continue to generate buzz? And I think that Austin tip-off that we just had was a great opportunity for a lot of teams to do that. And the question I have here is like, why are some of our smaller events, and we run some big boy events, 200 to 300 teams, but those 80 to 100 teams are just as beneficial because people like you and I at these Gassos get a look at multiple prospects multiple times. And with our coverage, I feel like these teams leave with their Twitter accounts flooded with a lot of Gasso top performers, video, and things like that. Speaking on what you speak earlier, why do you think those smaller regional events are, especially Gasso regional events, are really important for these teams to attend?
Yeah, because we get more eyes on more kids. I mean, that's what it boils down to. In these smaller events, it's a little bit more intimate of a setting, but just speaking on the ATA off, every team in that NBA division, we knew the starting five, we knew the bench guys by the end of the weekend. We watched them play 4 times. I mean, that's what it boils down to: is you're getting a real evaluation by dudes who have been in this space. Tim's been in this space 20 plus years. Blue's been around, forever. Sam's been doing this since like 94, 95, something like that. I mean, it's and then us two who've been both 10 plus year guys. This is
Don't be
getting a
loud. Don't, hey,
real evaluation.
don't be loud. Don't be loud. Chill out. Chill
No,
out.
no,
Don't be
no, no,
loud about
no.
that. We're not old. That sounds like old heads. Old head is 10 years and above.
But yeah, no, it really is great. Obviously we love the organized chaos of a 300 team event where we're scrambling and like, oh my god, I don't want to miss out on this team because this team's playing over here. But these smaller events can be really beneficial because we can see more of you throughout the weekend.
And then, like, I mean, we're never the most loud event organization. So I never want to get over here and like preach why Gasso. But we saw some teams at the Austin tip off that were like, oh, if y'all are coming to the spring championships, like, buckle up because we're going to give y'all everything that you've earned and what we think you deserve from schedules and matchmaking. So it's not like, hey, y'all had a good weekend, but we're going to go sit you over here. Like, if you hoop, then
Mhm.
we're gonna like we have the resources, aka the teams, to go put you in a situation where you can continue to climb up that ladder and play against really high level teams. Um, so we mentioned you talked about it a little bit earlier, like what we've learned so far this spring. So I'll kind of give my thoughts, which is going back to being regionally relevant first, and I think that's a big thing for a lot of teams because the realistic nature of this, and I don't care if it rubs some people the wrong way. You go to your circuits, and a lot of times maybe the circuit that's running your event might know your best player, might know your best two. So where can you play first to where as many kids' names on your roster become relevant? Because oftentimes you get regionally relevant, then you go to these circuits, and I know these circuit directors. They're looking at our feeds, they're looking to see who's coming, who's making noise. Well, you got to make noise somewhere first. So a lot of times playing regionally, not necessarily Gasso. Rumble and Plex last week, like I mentioned, was a great opportunity. The circuit was regional also. So there's a lot of regional opportunities, but you can't take this show on the national road, especially when you're paying to play in a circuit where there's just a lot going on. So I encourage players, parents, families, coaches to make sure that you're regionally relevant, aka playing in front of local media. I mean, we have 40, 50, 60 media members every year or every event coming to watch. So those are relevant media people to try to put you on, not just Gasso. Obviously, we can put you on how we're really good at it, but just being in your region, allowing these media and evaluators to show you some love before you go to these circuits and really grind across and against teams in the country. Um, so we talked about the spring championships, one of our favorites. Um, Going into it, I don't know. Is it early for us? Are you tired yet? Is it late? Where are we at in this? Like, I don't know if to call it early. I don't know what it is yet. I'm tired. I'm excited, but I'm tired. But there still are some teams that are making their Gasso debut. So who's a team for you, Lyndon, that's making their Gasso debut at the spring championships that you're excited to cover?
Yeah, a group that I've been really looking forward to seeing, and that's Jamal Shed Elite. You know, some really, some dogs in Central Texas. They always play tough. They're always going to have some names that really just pop on any given weekend. Alex Elliott in that 26 class is one that I've been wanting to see after a really good year with Alamo Heights. So, Jamal Shed's groups are always going to, you get what you expect from them. They compete, they run, and they're going to have a few dudes who I've never seen before who completely like will walk away from a court going like, yeah, that guy's going in the TBR. He's a really, going to be a big time player down the road.
For me, Team Griffin Academy, like we've just realized, especially in live periods, which they'll be at our live period this year, they come down from Oklahoma, and obviously you hear about all the fireworks of legends, which rightfully so. But this Team Griffin Academy, they got 3 teams coming this weekend, and every single year it's like, oh, like the organization of their program, the way they play, then they come down with dudes. Remember Jacob Smithy last year,
Oh
just
yeah.
breaking the rims down. Kamani West as well. Like that team was really fun in live period. Um, Talking to their coaching staff again, Blue was like, yeah, they're excited to bring their teams down. So I always know they're going to put a product out, and we're going to start to see some really high level prospects. Who's another one for you?
Yeah, and that kind of is a perfect,
Yeah,
goes hand in hand with my next talking point. And that's, it's not just TGA and legends coming down from Oklahoma. We're getting a ton of out of state flavor this weekend. Sammamish Select down from Washington, 7070 from Colorado, SBA from Kansas, NMBA from New Mexico. Like, this is a great opportunity for Texas. Whether you're one of the top teams in Texas who's made a bunch of waves, or you're a team who just randomly gets paired against one of these guys in bracket play. It's a great opportunity to kind of show that, hey, this there's a reason that Texas has the momentum in the recruiting scene that we do. And we don't give out free wins around here. So it's a great opportunity for Texas to kind of shine on the stage against a lot of talent from a lot of different places across the nation.
absolutely. No, I agree. Like and I've been doing some research on these teams, and they're all coming down to compete. They're not just coming down to hang out in Dallas. There's a lot to do down here, but they're coming down to come into the gym and get some wins. For me, Texas Impact AE, and this is probably a me and Ryan Massad, Mr. Recruiting Simplified's team. Um, like Mass always preaches, if you're high academic, it just opens up so many opportunities to play college basketball at the next level. Um, but like I'm excited. Keon Williams is on this team. Um, High level scorer, high level shooter. This team just comes in. I talked to Vernon. He's excited about this team, Coach Vernon. So just lot of high level guys um, that we didn't. I don't think they came last year, but we're excited to get that Texas Impact team and the Texas Impact stable that we'll talk a little bit about in a bit into the spring championships. So moving on to this next segment, it is a bracket this week. We have 4 16-team brackets in the NBA division. So let's talk about that bracket makeup. Who's a team that just you've seen this year that just kind of has the what it takes to not necessarily win it all? I mean, obviously, we wouldn't talk about it if we didn't think that, but what it takes to just navigate a bracket style setting. Who's that team for you, or a team for you?
Yeah, and it's a team that's already done it at a Gasso at King of the Court, and that's Rose City Warriors. They've got the size inside. Their guards are really tough, led by Kenson Anderson, who was amazing at our first event of the spring. And they just kind of have that rugged mentality to where they don't like get down whenever teams hit shots on them. They're just going to stay pounding away. And I really think that they have what it takes to put on a show in that first bracket.
Yeah, for me, SPC through SGB, it's just one of those things. They play well together and they play consistent, in which that's like easy. Like it's easy to say those things. Like that's just like low hanging fruit for a lot of teams. Oh, they play so well together. But when you're talking about navigating your way through a bracket, they have that, but they have the size, they have the athleticism, and they have the talent as well. So we're not just talking about a team that plays hard. Like they play so well together. They feed off the energy, and what I love about this team is like when somebody gets a big play, like you can feel their energy on the bench. And a lot of times in this kind of situation, where you're navigating through a bracket, you're going to need that momentum swing, and I think this SBC team definitely has that. Who's your next team right here? I'm excited for you to talk about them, as a lot of fans in the crowd will be.
Yeah, yeah. Let's talk about AB Elite's 2028 group. They're in the big boy bracket this weekend, and it's we know how talented they are. Let's get that out of the way first thing, because with Trey Edwards, with Barroway, with Aluga, with all the guys that they have, Darren Ford. I'm forgetting somebody else, but basically with the talent that they have, we've evaluated that. We know that they are going to be, Division One plus, type guys down the road. It is going to be like, this is where you find out like how much dog does somebody have when you're a 15U team playing against 17U, 16U groups. This is where we kind of see that competitive nature, because it takes toughness, it takes mental resilience, it takes a lot of things for you to go out there and win 4 games in a row against older competition. And so that's what I'm really going to be looking for from AB Elite, like just kind of trying to see, not just the talent, not just the shot making, not just the skill level that they all obviously have. It's that the mental side of things, and then that resilience that I'm seeing like over the long weekend. What can you show me?
And you didn't mention Cone LaCour, but that's because I had to call the
Right.
I had to call the Duncanville staff and be like, hey, keep nets ready because he's one of those guys. It's like in between
Yeah.
games after he plays, the nets are gonna have to probably be redone because he's ripping nets down the way he shoots it. For me, second to none, 17U. And when we talk about bracket makeup, once again, the low hanging fruit is that this team plays so hard, but they do, and you can't. It's not fake tough. And then you have the depth to go along with it. A team that's coached well, that they're not playing in the showcase division, but they've played against all the top teams that we've thrown at them over the past couple of years, and they come out and compete. So a team like this is going to have the right mentality. Like, luckily, they're coached and they play as if they're playing against the number one team in the country, no matter what. So when you have that, it's just a different type of mindset that they're going to go out and probably hit some teams in the mouth fairly early. So excited to see them in this bracket style. So we've done the debut. We've done the bracket makeup. Now let's talk about who's coming to Gas with momentum. Um, I talk about, I don't know if it's earlier, it's late. I don't know if it's spring. I don't know if it's summer, but we've seen a lot of basketball already. Who's somebody that continues to ride their momentum as they head into the spring championships?
Yeah, let's talk about Brendan Ballard out of Weatherford, because this is the kid. There's always one who kind of goes on a late run and rides that momentum, and starts picking up offers left and right. Where some, whether it's D1, D2 comes and swoops in and snags them, and it's looking like Brendan Ballard's that guy this year. With Elevate, he had a really really good. Two cities, one gas. So of course we were in Houston, but Mass and Sean were raving about him and what they saw from him up here this weekend. And he's if let's even though it's not a live period, if you're a college coach, you need an unsigned kid out of high school, stretch four that can go put you in the rim, can knock down the shot from the outside. This may be your last chance to get a real eval on him, because he ain't going to stay unsigned very long. West Texas offered. He's picked up a few more offers from all over the place earlier, and basically since two cities, one Gasso, and the momentum couldn't be higher. I'm excited to see him against some really good matchups this weekend. And yeah, he's his stock is taken off, and it's going to come to a commitment very soon. I got a feeling.
Absolutely, I agree. Give me Shia Francis, Texas Takeover, an absolute man amongst boys at two cities, one Gasso. And once again, you see what you see. And for somebody like, I make the schedule unless you hate the schedule, then it's not me. It's not me. But I put like Takeover has a really good schedule this week, and it's great to see a kid like that down in Houston come up. The Dallas Houston narrative is always there, so he's going to be able to showcase that athleticism, that toughness, that added skill set that I was more surprised. It wasn't as much of a, and I say this nicely, like a bull in a china shop, because it's not like he's just running over, but he's just so physical. But to see that skill and that start to match the physicality and athleticism, it was like, oh man, this kid is playing at a high level. So I'm excited to see him come up to Dallas and see some different teams on a big time stage. This name right here, Lyndon, when you're talking about those ones in the 2028 class and who could be one in the 2028 class, this name right here, talk about him.
And we 28 is going to be a headache. It's going to be a headache. We know it's going to be a headache. We're putting it off as far as we can. But yeah, Xavier Young has been a guy that every time I open Twitter on a random weekend, it's like, hey, Xavier Young, eye emoji kind of thing, where he's just, having big time games, because that's what he does, with that size, with his footwork, with his ability to score around the rim. I mean, like, he's what they look like at that age, and with Texas Impact 16U coming this weekend, I'm excited to see them. I'm excited to see him, because he's getting some real smoke on the schedule. He's getting some real, individual matchups. I'm not going to say who exactly, but I think we both know that he'll have a chance to kind of, build that momentum. It's all about, he's not going to win, the top spot in 2028 this weekend.
At least not from us, because we don't do rankings
Right,
just to do
right,
rankings. We give
right.
it plenty of time. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, no, exactly. But, could make a very big impression. I'll just say that with some of the matchups that he's going to be getting.
Absolutely. He's my candidate. If like the ball gets stuck on the top of the backboard and you're like, we don't have a broom, we don't have a mop or anything, can somebody go up and get it? I'm going to be like, is Xavier Young in the gym? So yeah, I'm excited to see him too. I'll finish up this segment. Amari and Hunter, um, Dallas Mustangs. Right after our two cities won gas, so he got his first Division 1 offer. Now we're not one of those guys that are like, hey, look, he got that because of Gasso. Did he play well there? Hell yes, he did.
He
But
did.
there's a lot of work that took to get that offer. So I'm never going to claim that a kid got an offer because of our event. He played really well there on the platform he needed to play where. But I mean, it's been coming. You've seen it. So he's starting to put it all together. Um, and once again, with great power comes great responsibility because we're giving Dallas Mustangs a high level weekend. And so I expect him to ride that momentum wave. So I know we're doing this podcast a little earlier than usual, but I got to head up to OKC to see the Thunder play tonight. Do you think, Lyndon, that the Thunder are going to win by 50 again? Am I wasting my time driving out there today?
Yes, you are.
So I should have just the next going forward. Comment here. Comment honestly if y'all are listening to this. Comment what the best time you'd like to hear a live GASOCast. Because I'm down to do it whenever. Like we could have, like we don't have any rhyme or reason. We need to start like scheduling these things out. But we're like, are you ready to go now? Yeah, let's do it. But yeah, I have to get out of here. But yeah, it's a spring championships. I'm excited. Like I keep looking at these brackets, and I don't really have a favorite in any of them. I have like a final four that I could kind of see happening. But you know how brackets are. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Spring championships. Go look at that schedule. Live periods coming. The advice I'll just give, and Lyndon, take 10 seconds to think about some advice to give to the kids because I'm putting you on spot. But the advice is no matter what, try to be relevant, whatever that means. Every time you step on the court, regardless of the event, regardless of how many minutes, do whatever you can take to be relevant. Because this thing, you just build that resume every single week. Lyndon, what do you got for him before we say
Yeah,
bye?
no, I mean, it's good advice that you just gave, and I'm going to give something similar because it's all about productivity. It's all about, if you can do something at a high level, whether that's getting the ball to shooters or getting the ball off the rim and pushing, or whatever the case is, anybody can go out there and run up and down and get their conditioning in on a court. If you're going out there and doing something, that's what we notice. And it's not always just going and looking at the box score and saying, oh, this kid had 20. It's rebounding, it's assisting, it's defending, doing the little things, as a former coach that I look for when I'm trying to evaluate my own players. And doing that at a Gasso, it always stands out. We're going to notice.
And somebody's always watching. We have streams all over the place. Somebody's watching. So don't think just because you only see mom and dad watching you in the stands. Somebody else is always watching. So always play as if your career's on the line. So that will do it. We're going to finish getting ready here for the spring championships. A ton of teams, a ton of matchups, a ton of excitement in the gym. We hope to see y'all there. And until next week, I'm Michael Timmons, Lyndon Cook. That's the GASOCast. Peace.